Good. We go. Oh, lost focus. Oh,
Where's he gone?
Okay. Wait a little bit so we can come back. Oh, dog. Okay. Oh, there he is. Great. I'll let him back in. Back.
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry, my fault.
Let's find out what's
I pressed the wrong button.
Great. Okay. Let's go. Great. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Good. We'll just loosen up a little bit. Just take it as well. Like jump. Look right. Just bring the feet out of the toes. Let the heels just strike down. Step the weight down a little bit to the ground. A little bit side to side. Okay, good rotation. Close the door. Right, okay, rolling way for the spine. Okay, good. Just loosen off the feet, go up the body, looking the ankle. And change direction. And change the leg. And then change direction. And loosen the knees. And circling. And the other way. And then on the hips. And change. Just go back to the leg, just rolling out the foot off the ground. And changing direction. And take it to the knee. Change direction. Great, rolling out the hip. One way. Ouch. And change direction. And kick it out. Change the foot. Change direction. Roll the leg. Change direction. Roll in the hip. Change direction. Great, just bring them out wide a little bit. Bring let the toes point out. Sink down. Touch the ground. Pull yourself back up. Keep the back long, head up. As much as you can. Right, just hold at the bottom. Lightly make contact with the ground. Keep the head up long. Pull yourself up long. Loosen out the leg side to side. And down to the onto the heel. Raise the toes. Alternate each side. As low as you can comfortably. Come in and out of the ground. Just hold at the bottom, one side. Use the hands. And walk your way over. Good. Lengthen out the legs, both legs back. Let the hands settle more in line with the chest. First, just pull the back long, lengthen through the back of the neck. And then as you come down to let the hands separate, take one ankle with each hand. Keep that length through the back. Let the head reach into the ground. Couple of deep breaths in and out. Right, walk the hands out long. Keep the hips back. Just lengthen through the shoulders. Shift the weight forward into the hands. Walk the hands, the feet together at the back. Just tread out the back heel. Let's do a few anti-climbers. Bring the knees to the chest or the elbow. And bring them back. And keep the core nice and stable. About 20 or so. Okay, bring the knees down. We're going to do, just going to want you're going to extend out the arm and the opposite leg. So you're going to reach out, lengthen through the arm, lengthen through the leg, and then you're going to alternate between this position. Bring the fist to the knee goes up, and then separate out again. So you lengthen through, bring the hand to the knee, lengthen out again. Just floating off the ground with the foot, it's extended out. Just a few each side. Nice and long, basically trying to create one straight line. Nice and solid in the core. One more, lengthen out. Touch the knee. Bring the hand back down. Find your base again, and then go to the opposite side. Reaching out with the fist, the back leg. Touching the knee, reaching out, hold it a little bit longer each time. Touching the knee, reaching out. Touching the knee, reach out one last time. Touch the knee, find the hands. And the feet at the back, just go to the shoulders, closing and widening them out. So. And just etc. This is going to go back cat-cow. So you pull the spine up long and then curl the spine up, look up to the ceiling. Look in between the legs, curl the spine as much as you can. And go the opposite way. Arching the back, lengthening up through the neck. So on just to release the shoulders, just work with circles. Imagine you're kind of working from the tailbone. Pass through to the shoulder, You just work both ways with it. Pass one circle through both. Or you can work with kind of figure of 8 motion. That's great. Super. Okay, find the feet, find the toes at the back again, just lengthen up into a kind of press up position. Plank, lengthen through the spine. Just do 5 or so press ups, so coming down. Coming up. Down. And up. Two more. And just hold it at the top. Great. Walk the hands back to the feet. Lengthen down. Let the back release. Head release. Loosen out the spine a little bit. Great. Bend in the knees. Rolling up to the top. Into standing. Great. Just loosen out the arms a little bit. Great. You just do some swings. So you're just going to reach the side, just let them kind of flap open. Just alternate the hand that's crossing the chest. Spine nice and long, so let the weight release down. Nice useful one, especially before going into Joe work. Got the back arm kind of swinging like a pendulum with the ski. Just trying to release the shoulders as much as you can. And feel the weight of both arms. You can hold them as little as possible. Just let your gaze kind of fix somewhere on the horizon line. Just fix a point. Just keep the eyes settled on it. Okay, good. And we'll do to the front, so just working, slightly incline the body with this one, and you're just going to work with alternating. Just focus on the kind of front swing of the arms, don't worry about going back with it. And you really want to feel that the hips swinging the hand forwards and backwards. They're really like a running motion, really, but obviously not going anywhere with it. And just let the head fix onto that horizon line again, the gaze. You can try and feel the heaviness of the arms. And release them more and more as you each swing. Open shoulder joints up. Good. Good, then just start to emphasize the back part of the swing. So the opposite arm reaching the back. Just try and really release the back shoulder. Put all your attention now on the back arm. Swinging open. Great. Good. And then just work up into the center, so letting the arms swing up and back down. Find the center line of the body with the arms, with hands. And let the body open up to the side now. And in this case, find 2 points on the wall where you can kind of focus, shifting the whole body to one side and then the other. And then just take it into a full circle, let the arms go. All the way one way. get into it, just notice how the hips need to kind of open. Allow that movement to happen. And let the hips be the guide for the whole movement. Good. And then a few the other way, just changing the arms. Good. Let's let the arms relax down. Just do one last one just to release out the arm. So play with two arms. You've got the arm going to the same shoulder, just releasing out. So the hands of the shoulder, same side, or you can do a cross this way. So just play with those who are releasing out. Try and feel that the hips still working that connection with the hand. So you can obviously fix the body and just throw the arm over. See if you can get the feeling that the hips actually to initiate it. To release the end of the movement, just allow the arm to release down. It's going to feel a little bit sloppy, a little bit like there's no power in it, but just allow the weight of the arm to just fall back towards the body. So just play the same side shoulder or the opposite side. Play with doing a few on each hand as well, on each side. Keep going, just a few more. We're sticking to a light ski now, so work from the hip or work from low, but feel that again the hip's kind of connected. So a loose one, but keep a kind of heaviness in it. So focus now on pulling it out, pulling the connection out and pulling it back. So do this kind of loose ways. You've obviously got the kind of karate, kind of Shotokan style, but allow yourself to just work the connection and basically try and keep the joint system as open as possible. So working on feeling the weight of the arm and feeling that connection from the hip, pass through the shoulder, into the elbow, into the hand, and all the way back as well. Like a kind of yo-yo, kind of pull it out, pull it back. Nice, nice. So allow yourself to briefly hold that position at the end. And just again, you don't need to make a fist with this. You can just keep the hand kind of loose. But allow the structure just to kind of reach into that extension. And just notice if I'm overextended or underextended, just try and find the right level of extension the joint system can really release, but you still stay stable in the ground. So really releasing out the wrist. Okay. That's it. Guys, play with both. Then you can alternate, you can stick with one side with it. Yeah, and as we just play with the ski again, just making now a fist, pulling it back and forward. Keep it nice tight fist, but again, really try and feel that you release the strike out. Release the strike out. You know, a little bit of bracing through the wrist joint. Try and keep it aligned. And again, the feeling that the hip can basically inject through the elbow. Shoulder stays relaxed. And just play with the other hand. You can obviously use it as a balancing aid or as a kind of something that would grab. But the other way to use it is just use it to kind of feel what's happening in the shoulder. And all the way kind of down that side of the body. You can also press it on the hip. You can press it on the center line. You press it on the back of the body. Just explore different areas of the body with that free hand as you're doing loose strike, focused and heavy as well. So that free hand just to explore the body. So good. That's it. Good. And then just exploring one side, same side foot, just play with different levels of the strike, but let the hip basically guide it. So you've obviously got a straight line strike where the hip would just go forward with it this way. You can either go like a Chinese style, straight through, or more of a kind of karate style, rotating over. If you're careful with the shoulder and the elbows, you do that one. But just allows you to play with that same side foot. So play with different angles of the foot. Let the fist basically follow that alignment from the hip. And just play with different orientations of the fist, but try and guide it by the hip. And just let that arm kind of work around either the shoulder, the center line, or the hip, or even the back of the body. Just notice, just use that hand to just feel what's going on in different areas as you explore different alignments. Strike. There we go. That's nice. Yeah, good. That's nice. Good. And I just play with both sides as well as you do it. The left side as well. Good. Good. We just go to the feet and basically combining now. So start with again loosely, just kind of rolling with it. So focus again on the weight kind of shifting. You can do now front foot, back foot, and keep the feet kind of pliable, but just allow the weight to kind of shift through, and the fin is just kind of throwing out the arm again. And try and really feel that the weight of the body basically stays down. Weight stays down. Just see and engage it in, but allow the arm not to be the focus. The body to really be focal point. Play with different structure. Obviously, got basic kind of thrusting work, or ski work, striking work. Just play with different ranges of motion. Try and keep the shoulder in structure. And the key thing, letting the hip basically guide from the ground. So. Nice. Yeah, good. Very nice. Good. And then just put a little bit of tension into the strikes now. So feel or try and align the fist through the strike. So you can obviously use different parts of the hand, not just the front and the knuckles. You can use the back of the fist. That way you can use the hammer side of the fist. Just play with whatever feels kind of appropriate for that move, but think about now making that fist tight, keeping the shoulder, elbow injecting, shoulder released, elbow injecting the strike wherever you are. Again, just play with subtle combinations of each. So, key thing again, injecting weight from the ground, mobilizing from the hip, letting the weight pass out through the hand. So. That's it. Good. That's it. Great. Okay, take a joke. We'll go into a little bit of work. Great. Okay, we'll do a little bit now. Really related exercise. Take the Joe nice strong grip and just play with basically rotating, extending out, coming back. Use that spare arm to just feel what's going on. You can go anywhere down the center line of the body, the hip, the shoulder. Just get a feel for what's kind of happening in that area as you extend out, reach up, play with different levels of extension, kind of going down, going out, going up. Just play with, again, the ability of the shoulder to basically align through the structure. Feel that you've got a sense of pressure through the feet that you can basically extend into the hand. Just using the Joe for a little bit of extra weight, a little bit of feedback on the structure. And focus on both sides of the connection, going out with extension and drawing back into the body. Let that same connection work guide it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. So, just explore both sides and explore again different levels, different feet forwards as you do it. Keep that connection work hip to hand. So, good. Good. Okay, good. Good. Okay, good. Great. So we'll do another one that you can really do with the Joe. So this really involves the legs as well. So working the legs up a little bit. Take the Joe just in the center line. We'll do a few. There's a few variations you can do this. We'll start with some kind of basic ones. You're going to take in this case, my right hand is on the Joe. I'm going to take the left leg out. I'm going to bring the Joe as close as I can to the ground and keeping the kind of structure through, and then draw it back out. So just go to that one side. So it's right side. Left leg goes out, and you want to basically roll down to the ground and pull the body back up. So feel that the hip is guiding both those moves. The hip draws it down and injects down with the fist and then rolls it back up. And just take it as far as you can to the ground. You can also go all the way to the ground, but just feel that connection all the time and try and keep the body basically aware of the surroundings as well. So just play within that range. You open it out, pull it down. And as you do it, just explore different positions with the, you can keep the right leg down and you can basically explore different angles of the foot with the left foot taken down and let the, again, the hip kind of roll and open. If you feel the right leg gets kind of stuck, start to twist into the knee, don't let that happen. Just free the foot up a little bit. And you can come down onto the knee if you like, come down there and roll yourself back out of it. Wait, no, that's not going to be useful. Good. And then just try to feel with the left hand. So same idea. Right, the left leg's going to kind of stay, and the left hand's just going to stay in that position, and then take the right leg down. And again, just play with the orientation of it. So you can roll down with it, come back up. You can roll that way with it, come back up. Just take the go as low as you can to the ground whilst maintaining again that sense of connection from the hip to the hand. And find positions that are also going to kind of challenge the structure. Able to mobilize through those positions. So nice. Nice. Yeah, good. That's perfect. Okay, good. So we'll do a movement we don't actually do a great deal in Aikido, and for good reason usually, because it's quite unstable, but it's a good one for balance practice and also just for range of motion practice. So you're going to do the opposite now. So same, if the right hand holds the jab, the left leg's now going to be kind of stable in the ground, and you're going to mobilize the other hip. So we're going to do movements, you're going to find yourself in movements like this, coming through. Yeah, we don't often come into these positions, but sometimes we do, and sometimes you need to go into those positions. And if I never train them, when I go into them, the body goes, oh, shit, where am I? And then you get stuck. So, which is especially the case if you go into kind of a wild 𝘱𝘰𝘀𝘪 or something. But just play with now that foot, basically being able to mobilize as well. So play with different positions. You'll probably find your range of motion is a little bit more limited. It's just okay, just kind of go with it and just notice it. But again, that hip's ability to open and move and trying to maintain again that same kind of connection work, but much trickier now, especially if you're crossing the leg over. But again, just listen to the knees. You don't want to. Nice, Adrian. Yeah, good. Yes, perfect. Very good. It's super flexible. Great. Good. Good. Yeah, and if you need to really use the 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘩 as well, so you can also lean into the 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝑗. It's also a useful thing to do. That's it. Main thing with this one, just listen to the knees. That's it, nice. Yeah, great. And again, try both hands with this one. So the setup's just that you've got the opposite hand. That same side foot does it, you're basically crossing over. As soon as you feel that kind of connection work slip away, just make the move a little bit smaller, a little bit tighter. Okay, perfect. So working now basically with rotation, so you're going to go into it. What I tend to do with this is use the other hand starts kind of come into it and make contact with it as well, but play with, basically you're free to do any foot, any hand with it, but just play with the feeling that you're going to kind of rotate into it. Use the same kind of feeling again, that connection slowly, and take it towards the ground. You might want to feel you want to kind of alternate the hands with this one a little bit, but just play with the feeling that you can kind of rotate the body and roll through the connection. Change the grip maybe if you like. Roll through the connection work. Roll through the connection, in and out of it. You're going to kind of challenge the body's ability to go to the ground, come out of the ground, using that kind of connection work. You can obviously think about doing techniques or getting into positions where you can execute techniques, or you can also think about taking a kemi as well with this. Both kind of sides are kind of useful in a sense, but you think about kind of rolling with a kemi or rolling with a technique. You find yourself really in awkward positions with a kemi. That's kind of the point. That's perfect. Good. Okay, good. And then just to open the arm work a little bit, take both hands on the jo, so you can play with either hand, or you can have even a light contact, but play with as you go down, basically separating the contact out with the hand. So kind of one hand reaching up, one hand reaching down. Play with different orientations of the footwork, but just play with keeping one hand in contact, or sorry, both hands in contact, but one hand's going to kind of reach down. And again, just go as far as you can whilst maintaining that sense of connection with the hip, usually guiding the motion. The main thing to notice is just slow it down a little bit. Just notice whether the arm starts to kind of do its own thing. Try and bring it together and just make the contact either very light with the hands, or you can keep one hand with a strong sealed grip and the other one flowing down it. And just challenge again the body's ability to take a nice aligned structure. Very good. Good. Last one we'll do, this is when you're in danger of becoming like a pole dancing technique, but play with most of the technique, most of the stuff you've done is basically on the sense line in front of the body, it's kind of rolling down with it, rolling down with it. Play with basically the body being either at the jo being at the side of the body or the jo being at the back of the body. And yeah, just play with those two. You can either just have one hand on it, but just play with rolling in and out of the ground now, a little bit more fluidly, but just play with the shoulder basically being a little bit out of structure. If you think about some of the motions we come into, especially with shidowaza work, right, have to work the arms behind the body. You don't really have a choice about it. Play with those, and again, try and activate the legs. Work you into the ground a little bit if you like. The main thing is just exploring the position of the arms being a little bit out of structure, a little bit uncomfortable. Nice. Perfect. Let's explore different grips, or explore kind of no grip, just contact. So. That's so nice. Okay, last 10 minutes, we'll look at basically putting these two things together. So mobility and basically the ability to strike with weight. And we're going to start with this. This is a kind of strange exercise, but it's a kind of nice one. We're going to work really with like a figure of 8 motion. So the first one's this, let the arms really do it. So I'm going to kind of fix the body and I'm just going to let the arms kind of do it a little bit. So kind of let the wrists, let the forearms kind of do it. Just get. Basically, the wrists are going to start to try and do this with the arms, going to start to do it. So I just want to give the motion to them for now. Just get it out of them, basically. They'll want to do it. Just give them the motion. Embrace the rest of the body as much as you can. Okay, good. And then just stop. Pull the arm straight. Now, just play with the feeling of the arms, just connecting to the hip. So let the hip just gently kind of kick into the hand. Now, just watch, it's really easy for the hand to start to kind of do it, but let the hip really kind of kick it. And you don't really need to move the 𝘗 too much. It's not yet about kind of sustaining the motion. Just kind of get in it, kind of feeling that you can kick the hip. And you can make obviously the hip work very big. So the hands basically stay in place. I can kind of roll the hips, tuck the hip, work the pelvis, and then feel that you can actually connect the hand into the hip, hand into the hip. I just want to give a subtle kind of kick with the hands. But just again, just notice it's really easy with this to where the hand just basically does the motion. And I can trick myself with this because I can do the hand and the hip work at the same time, which is a really tricky area to kind of get out of. But the best way I know is just to kind of isolate the hip work a little bit, let the hands be stable, and just feel that there's a connection, there's a connection, you can take it. Subtle one, but nice one. Yeah, that's it. Okay, great. Next one we'll do is working into a figure of 8. So try and keep the hands as stable as you can. The tendency we've got with this, so we'll kind of do it first and then we'll kind of control it. Go into this way. It's basically like I try and make the figure of 8 by letting the body basically do this. So the body's basically swaying the arm. Now this works in terms of connection work, that I'm kind of passing the movement to the end of the 𝘗, but it's not very flexible. Well, it's flexible in the upper body. It's actually too flexible in the upper body. But just notice this is a kind of sway. There's a sway. I'm basically working really out of structure in a sense. So I'm kind of rigid in the upper body. And the spine's doing more than movement. So that's where people tend to go with this. So just play with a little bit. Know that that's really where I don't want to do. So that feeling of like, ooh, if I do that for a long time, 10 minutes or something, the body really goes like, ooh, feels like it's got no center, it's got no balance, and that's where we're kind of working a lot of the day. So then just go take a pause with it, just settle back into the center, feel that you've got that kind of core base, and then just notice a different kind of motion that you can get or you can achieve with it. You might sort of want to release the grip a little bit, where there's no kind of sense of listing of the upper body. Just wants to feel like it's kind of rolling around the core of the body. And you're still trying to achieve that kind of figure of 8 motion. But it's just really distinct feeling in the body then. And if I go to that one, it's something a little bit more centered. And you just notice the hands want to kind of take over. See if you can get the hip kick the 𝘗 around a little bit. So, yeah, great. That's so nice. Yeah, great. Good. And then just explore 2 things. You can split the hands off and work in this way, or you can have one hand on the center. So you're going to start, if you go with one hand, you're probably going to find you need to go into that position because this position is not. Oh, actually, you can do it. It feels a bit tight. So play with 2 things: rolling the grip this way. And if you like, you want to take over one side, just let it kind of go with it. But again, notice, particularly when I go to one side, the tendency for the body to kind of fall out of the structure. So just allow yourself to kind of drop back into it. Let the weight really settle down the back. Really try and feel a connection of the center of the 𝘗 to the center of the body. Quite subtle, but difference between kind of rolling through the center and pulling out of it. So. And then the last one we'll do is remobilize the hands. So you're basically working, if you think with the movements we make with the 𝗧𝗧, working with a kind of blocking motion. So you're just allowing the hands to kind of roll through, use different orientations of the handwork. You can again go back to one. You can also think about the katate movements that we make, the one-handed strikes, particularly number 13. So that kind of roll through that way. And as you're doing it, a little bit more complex, a little bit more weight than we were doing before. Just notice again the shoulder, whether it's kind of settled back or whether it's kind of being pulled in and out. Again, the elbow kind of connecting to the hip, the hands being nice and free. Free enough to be able to mobilize easily on the jaw. And just explore the distance between the hands. Explore one hand, explore different weights of the weapon. Basically all variations on that figure of 8 motion. Yes. Good, great. Okay, good. A few more. Yes. Yeah. Boom. Good. And then we'll just finish it. Last 3 minutes. We'll do the first minute really light. So go back to the feeling again you had with the strike, you're kind of relaxing it out. But again, play with different positions of the jaw. So keep everything kind of light and loose, especially the wrist and the elbow. And just play with a little bit like you're striking out, striking out, striking out, striking out. Just keep everything kind of light. Play with both hands rolling, but that feeling that you're kind of whipping the connection out, with a focus again on the body, finding the ground. So it's kind of snap to it. Snap to it, snap to it, snap to it. Again, play with different orientations of the hand. Play with one hand on the weapon. Again, all based on kind of variations of that figure of 8 motion coming from the hip. So, yeah, exactly. You can think about all those 𝗧𝗧 moves. Katate. Yeah. Okay. Good. Next one, think about that same kind of looseness, but also the connection back into the body. So you can kind of roll out and wind it back. So before it was in a sense like just kind of whipping it out. Focus on the kind of roll back into the body as well. The best image I've got for this, or the best feedback I've got for this, is basically someone holding the jaw with the feeling that when you draw, the body needs to basically roll through. So it's not a sense of kind of pulling the jaw back, but basically an extension again of that kind of weight passing through the end of the jaw. Good. And as you do this one, just start to move the feet as well. So allow yourself to kind of roll back with the body. Again, you can use the legs kind of coming low against the ground. Again, think about any kind of rolling, whipping motion with the jaw, or also in the taijutsu work as well. There's tons of examples you can do with this kind of practice, but let's okay. Good. Good. And then the last 30 seconds, just put a little bit of power into it. So just feel that you can kind of whip it out with a little bit of power, give yourself a little bit of focus. But again, think about either striking, think about blocking, or think about basically neutralizing onto the body. The weight of the body basically drains and down into it. Again, finding the connection point between them. Rolling the hips. Rolling the hips. Nice and free form with it. You'll probably find yourself rolling into familiar positions anyway. Yes. Good. Great. We go. Good, perfect. We will bow out there. Very good. Let's... Great. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。
Okie dokie. There we go.
Wow, thank you.